right, so I bought something for the Street Glide in preparation for my Sturgis trip coming up, beginning of August, because while I've been twice, every time you take a road trip, you learn something that you didn't know before and you find a way to do it better the next time. Well, what I have found now that I'm going to do this trip on the new Street Glide, what with the old one being gone, is I miss having the GPS, just built into the bike. My 19 had it just with the bike. It was great. It worked well. So what does Harley do when something works well? Is they break it. I am not spending $350 to unlock the built-in onboard GPS on the new bike. And from what I understand, it's kind of garbage anyway. So I don't have an iPhone. I run Android, and I'm not going to buy an iPhone just so I can have, I'm not going to buy an Apple just so I can have Apple CarPlay. So what I'm doing is I am going to put something on the bike that I can run maps from my phone, because I did try just hardlining it from the built-in USB cable to the phone, and it just kept giving me problems saying device not responding, wasn't really charging my phone. So I came up with a workaround. Let's take it to the workbench and see what that was. I got the quad lock, too many boxes in here, the quad lock wireless charging setup. So that way I can run my phone with my music, my maps, all of that. I don't have to hardline the phone to the bike in hopes that it decides it wants to communicate. So this is what we're going to do. I've already installed a couple of these on some buddies' bikes, but I did the other option they have for these is the hardline mount, where you connect this into ignition power. So when the bike's on, it has power. When it's off, it turns off. I don't want to do that on this bike because it was a lot easier to figure out on the other ones, because I just tapped into the heated grip wire that's behind the nacelle, and I don't know where that is here, and I really don't feel like figuring it out. So I've got a USB port, and by golly, that's what I'm gonna use. So it comes with your standard USB plug, because the new bikes are running USB-C. I went with this adapter, so it should be fairly straightforward. The only tool I should need is my wire cutters, or dikes, or whatever you want to call them, just to clip zip ties, because this comes with the Allen key you need. There's no tool needed for this. This comes with zip ties, so that should be all I need. So let me get everything unboxed, laid out, and I'll pick you guys back up. All right, this is it. The charger head, the old cable, the USB-C one that we don't need. The new one, the zip ties, which I will admit, I don't like the size of the zip ties they give you. This is just way too chunky for my personal preferences. Fortunately, I have lots of other zip tie options, which I'm probably going to go with because they're going to be more discreet. Comes with a extra bolt, the Allen key, and then my wire cutters. So I believe I've got this longer bolt here simply because if you're going to run, say, the anti-vibration module, which for the bikes I recommend, so that's why we're going to run this instead of this much shorter one. And I'm throwing parts around. Okay, not much shorter, but shorter nonetheless. So let's go ahead and show you what I'm running over here that I ran, I believe, on the last Street Glide, and I carried over to this one. I've already got the mount. It's just, this standard mount. It's got the anti-vibration, which is great. So really, I don't have to fiddle with any of this here, or at least I shouldn't. Worst case scenario, I might have to adjust an angle once I get this all together. I just have to pull this screw out, pop the charger head on, run my cable discreetly, probably down my clutch cable, down to my USB port. And then I'm just going to push that USB port into the cavity where the old bars used to be, just to try to keep it out of the splash zone of writing, is my goal. But obviously this will get tucked in first before everything gets zip tied in. So let me go grab the wrench that I left over there, and I'm going to do my best to record while I'm doing this, just so you can all see how simple this is. I'm hoping it'll be simple enough I can do it one-handed. We're going to find out. All right, so not only am I going to do this right-handed, I'm going to use my wrong hand too. So I am not right-handed. I did go ahead and just kind of crack this loose real quick before I picked you guys up. So, whoa, there it goes. There it goes. All right. So, there, let go. That's done. Now, I think I'm gonna try the shorter one. If we don't get enough tooth grabbing, then I'll swap out, but yeah, I mean, that should be just fine. Can't foresee why it wouldn't be. So let's make sure that I'm a little finicky about how things are oriented, because if it's askew or crooked, it's gonna drive me nuts. Even though I'm not gonna see it most of the time while I'm writing, I'm gonna know, especially if the phone doesn't happen to be on it at that moment. So, sitting here looking at this, I think I'm gonna flip that over, so that way I can maybe just run the wire over the top. Or do I run it underneath? You guys probably can't even see what I'm looking at. Just trying to find a discreet way to make this a little less of an eyesore. I think, yeah, we'll keep it orientated like that, and see if I'll end up liking that. Who knows? I'll take it for a rip and see if I end up kicking myself later. But as I always seem to do, ooh, don't drop that. So there we go. That's snug. That's not going anywhere. Now, our USB-C cable extension. Come on. There we go. Look at that, right-handed. I don't know how you righties do this. This is awkward as all get out. Okay, so if that's coming through, which it probably isn't, there's an arrow right there that's going to line up with the arrow on this one, and then you'll push it in until it clicks. And this one I really don't know that I'll get done right-handed. Yeah, nope, it's sliding around. Hold on. All right, that definitely wasn't going to happen one-handed. That is a snug fit. They definitely wanted to make sure there was not going to be any water intrusion in there. And in case you're wondering, from the connection point here to the other end, I mean, we're talking, that's a good 3 feet of cable. So there's plenty of cabling. So now come down here, try to plug that in without shoving it into the bike. All right, there we go. So moment of truth is, let's put power to the bike, see if that turns on. But again, I forgot something else. Let me grab the keys. All right, keys acquired. So with the hardwired one that I installed on some buddies' bikes, there was a little indicator light when this got power that I'm not immediately seeing on this one. So I don't know if it's going to be there or not. So let's give this some power. Hopefully the radio doesn't come on. I guess we'll find out, but yep, no light immediately. We have a phone, so we're gonna find out together if this works. And at the moment, I'm not seeing anything. That's interesting. I'm not liking that. That should have power. So now I have to troubleshoot. Stand by. All right, I don't know what I did. I mean, I flipped over the USB, but it shouldn't matter with the USB-C. It's the one way it is the other, as far as I know. But I took the phone off and then I plopped it back on and it started working. Oh, I don't know if I hit the power button there or not. Would you stop? Okay, I am not hitting the button now. I know that. Come on. This is just as painful for me as it is for you guys. Trust me. There we go. And yep, we're charging. So I don't know what I did, but she's working now. So wireless charging, 54%, little lightning bolt. Yeah, cool. So, and then to remove, unlike these levers where you just push one side down, you actually push both tabs straight back. You can kind of see that open up, and then you twist off. Oh, didn't mean to turn on my hazards. I'm not paying attention. So anyway, go ahead. There we go. So now all that's left, like I said, is to just run my cabling over, run some zip ties, and stuff all this back inside the fairing. So I know I can't zip tie one-handed, so I'm going to get this tidied up and looking good, and I'll show you guys how I decided to go with it. All right, cable management done. You can see we ran, whoa, that's a little bit too close. We ran down and under. I am going to cut this tag off because that's just an eyesore. Zip tied here, took the extra cabling, bundled it together, did another zip tie, and just passed it through the hole. So it's inside the fairing. Now, the only thing I don't like, and it's probably because it's USB instead of hardwired, is this takes probably a good 30 seconds to a minute to fully power up, and I'm guessing that's because the rest of the bike has to wake up before it starts sending power to the USB port. Now, because I did it the way I did, popped it in there, I can still pull it back out, do my software updates as needed, and then plug this back in and go. I don't use that for anything other than the updates. I tried it once for power and it was finicky at best. So this now is going to get stashed. These are going to be, well, this one's probably going to be chucked because I've already got one that I keep on the bike just in case. That'll go into my randomness bin of bolts and screws that I can't seem to throw away. So yeah, that looks good. Let's go and wrap up this video real quick. So that's it. I bought it really quick and easy. This is way easier than the ones that I installed on a couple, 22 and a 23 Road Glide, one regular, one ST. But I was never going to do this until I put it on theirs, and they were running it and they love it, and damn it, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the cheap route, you know, the free route, and just plug the cable into the bike and go. Yeah, of course, that's not how my luck works. So anyway, if you guys are all interested, I'll put the links down below. Now, like I said, you have to buy the USB-C cable separate if you're going to go the USB route. The charger head's about 72, 75 bucks. The cable's another 25. So all in after tax, I was just shy of about $110. But I've been nothing but pleased with Quadlock's products that I've used. A buddy of mine uses. I got some other guys that run their products, and the thing is just solid. You know, I can't recommend them enough, even though I've spent more money than I want to admit on their stuff. Not even all of it for me. I just believe in it that much. I bought a whole setup, you know, case and mount, not a wireless mount. I don't like my friends that much, but just the basic mount and the case for a buddy of mine who is running some god-awful Amazon knockoff on his expensive iPhone. And I think, no, dude, just come into today's technology, essentially. So if you're interested, like I said, I'll put the links down below. Quadlock, they do, I think, a great product. So in this wireless charger, I think it's going to come in really handy while I'm taking my, what is it? When I did a bullet run last time, it was about 13 hours straight. I'm going to 2-day it, so 850 miles one way. I can do it in a day. I just don't want to, again, if I don't have to. So This is going to come in great for running my GPS, even though it's pretty much a bullet down I-90. It's just nice to know where the gas stations are, where my hotel is going to be, and all that, plus any other miscellaneous riding I'm going to do while I'm down in Sturgis. So, because again, I'd rather spend $100 for a wireless mount and run my GPS from my phone instead of paying $350 for a janky Harley GPS that wasn't broken to begin with, but they found a way to break it. So, questions, comments, concerns, as always, let me know. And until then, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.